morning, Rebecca. Thanks so much for joining us and for telling us a little bit about how Zendelity has leveraged an integration with Mitel Communication Systems to benefit your customers. But first, maybe just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what Zendelity does.
Absolutely. So my name's Rebecca Wormleighton. I'm the co-founder here at Zendelity. We launched our first commercial solution to the cruise industry back in 2011. In essence, we are all dedicated to simplifying operations. We look at the mobile frontline worker as a strategic asset for organizations that from a technology perspective has been left behind. So our goal is to help organizations ensure a safe and smooth operation by ensuring that staff have the information that they need to be successful in their jobs and that management has the data that they need to make the best decisions for operations.
Amazing. So I know that Zendelity sells to a wide variety of customers, but one interesting group is cruise ships. And I understand they have some pretty specific needs. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're currently deployed on 36 of the world's largest cruise ships today. But yes, absolutely. When you look at cruise ships, they're a very distinct requirement and many different levels. So one, they require premise-based solutions. They can't depend on the cloud due to connectivity issues. They're constantly changing time zones. So when you think about communicating with people, you've got to be respectful of and understand where they are at that time, where they are in the world. And then, of course, they are like a small city, as we know, in and of themselves. So from a scalability perspective, we need to support between 6,000 and 8,000 users with our solution from guests and crew. And then I think probably one of the most important things is when you look at the communications on a cruise ship, it's absolutely critical. Your systems cannot go down because of the situation. So, this is a 24-hour business that is mission critical communications. So they have very distinct requirements coming as part of their needs.
Right. So then, so how does Zendelity then address those really critical needs?
Absolutely. So we have integrated with Mitel's My Voice business voice communication system. So we've integrated in a variety of ways. So one is we provide PMS integration. So we connect the property management system with My Voice business and then provide all the advanced communications requirements around that. So everything from Wi-Fi or wake-up calls, dynamic messaging to guests, staff reminders. We provide IoT integration so that when we receive alerts from IoT devices across the ship, we can broadcast messages to the right people. So it's really all about making sure that the right people understand exactly what's going on across the ship, and that we've got real situational awareness as to what's going on. There's no blind spots.
Amazing. That sounds like a perfect marriage of technology. So can you share maybe a little bit more about how this Zendelity integration with Mitel Communications supports your customers?
Absolutely. I can talk about one of our customers specifically, Epic. We have actually completed over 35 million messaging tasks over the course of our relationship. So again, making sure that the right people have access to the information. I'm super proud to say, a little plug for us, last 5 years, not a single support ticket. Our customers are happy and up and running, but in addition to providing those messaging tasks, we really have connected their ship's safety management system to the My Voice business communications platform. So now when on board the ship, if a fire alarm goes off, if a temperature gauge exceeds threshold, or if any of the buttons on the bridge are activated, whether it's to call a doctor or call the engineer on staff or send a message, we can broadcast a message automatically to over 200 staff across the ship. We've integrated to Mitel's 5634 Wi-Fi phone, so all those staff will automatically receive a text message as soon as those alerts are achieved or hit, so they're immediately in the know as to exactly what's going on and what needs to be done. And then we've also integrated on Firewatch perspective. So we're working with the ships to make sure, as part of a cruise ship, they need to do Firewatch every hour on board the ship to make sure, of course, everybody's safe. So we ensure that that is actually happening, that staff are in the right location as required. We provide alerts if someone were heaven forbid, to fall overboard. We could automatically communicate that to the bridge, so everybody knows. And again, it's all about taking corrective action and understanding exactly what's going on at any given time.
So that's actually amazing, Rebecca, that all these things are connected and talk to each other, that
Yeah.
your alerts can then be channeled through via the Mitel systems to alert exactly the people who need to know when they need to know, and that those procedures can then be followed. So I'm sure
Absolutely.
that customers will feel very safe knowing that those are in place. Just any final thoughts? I mean, I really appreciate you walking us through the Zendelity solution, and how you're working with Mitel to benefit your customers. Any other thoughts to share?
Yeah, I think a lot of these discussions are all stemming back to IoT and the promise of IoT, really connecting our worlds. If we look at the promise of Industry 5.0, it's really connecting our machine worlds with our people world. And I think that what's really important for people to understand is, while it's fabulous to have the data from our IoT sensors, from our smart equipment across the ship or across our properties, what's most important is our ability to take action, right? So that the sooner that we can ensure that those alerts are action, that the right people are in the right place to address the issue, and that management has visibility of that, that's when you're really going to deliver upon the promise, the true promise, I believe, of IoT, and close that loop. Because as I said, it's great to have the data, but if we don't use it, what's the value? We're actually doing some early discussions right now with another one of LSpark's partners, SoarLink, where we're looking at integrating their IoT vibration sensors into our technology. So as soon as those vibrations are identified within the equipment, which is indicating that there's some maintenance required, something needs to be done, we can automatically dispatch that to the right employee with the right procedures, so they can make sure that they're actually going to address that problem. So we really get that return on investment. And that's what we're excited about this program with Mitel, and able to bring that voice component into those discussions, which I think is such a strategic importance.
Rebecca, thanks very much for walking us through your solution, and how your ability to integrate into the Mitel communication systems, in particular, in this use case around being deployed on cruise ships, how that really adds value to your customers. Just want to ask, is there any other thoughts you have to share?
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking a lot these days about the promise of IoT and what it can do and what it can bring to the business. And, really, I think that what's important for people to keep in mind is that while it's fabulous to have your IoT, the data, what I think is the most important is, what do we do with that data and how do we action it? So within our capabilities, we're trying to take that information and make sure that then employees can action it. They have the right procedures, they understand exactly what needs to be done, and can do so in a timely and efficient manner. Once we have that, that's where you're really going to get the return on investment. Because if we don't action our IoT data, there's nothing we can do with it, which is what makes this program with Mitel so exciting, because I think it brings in that voice component, which is still a very important part of our operations, as we've seen in the cruise industry and the like.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Rebecca. So just want to let people know, if the Mitel Communications Accelerator can open doors for your business, check out our website, lspark.com, and apply soon.